Noble citizens of the globe, welcome back to another episode of the Noble Citizens Podcast. As always, I'm Che. We got Jade.
Hello, world.
We got Ronnie.
Yo.
And we talking elections, all the craziness that's going on in America. Stay tuned. Let's get weird one more again.
Whoop.
Okay. This might be the drunkest storm I've ever encountered in my life. Nah, there was one that was anticipated to be as drunk, but I don't think it panned out to be as drunk as this one is.
Yes.
But this one is drunk as hell. I've been telling him, I've been saying this for a while now. I truly believe that some people, because there's already like conspiracy theories about like people like creating storms. And I feel like that's somewhat true. I feel like people are just like putting these storms out in the air, letting it develop into a hurricane or whatsoever. And then they remote control these bitches, man. I swear, bro. They got these hurricanes out here like RC cars, and there's like little kids
something?
driving them out here.
I didn't even think, this might be very ignorant of me, and I'm not a meteorologist. I don't have any kind of weather degree. But I thought that because of the way, like the direction of the wind, I didn't even think hurricanes could come back this way. Like after they go, they come off the coast of Africa and they kind of pass the Caribbean and South America and then swoop their way on up to Florida. I didn't even think they could go back east.
That boy was going straight to Texas, and he was like, "Nope, Miss Florida, skirt." hit a hard right and turn right back around.
That thing started at the bottom, and now it's here.
Literally,
it started at the bottom, went over to Central America, like the north of South America. Obviously, we know about Honduras being impacted, and then it said it started making a Z from the bottom. It went this way, and then it was like, "Oh, my home dog, Florida. I haven't seen you in it.
Let me just pass Cuba
boy.
right quick.
Let me just skirt. I see you, dog. I ain't forget about you." Because, we have been dodging storms all season.
We have.
Yeah, there was like, 20-something storms. And
it's made it through the storm alphabet and back again. And we didn't get any.
And we didn't get hit. But, we got some rain here and there, but like not like storm. Not like anything like we just got.
Yeah.
Like flooding was just
Even
ridiculous.
before this hurricane or this tropical storm, there was all that rain.
And it did become a hurricane at one small point in time. After it hit the Florida Keys, it did jump over to hurricane status, and then it went back to storm status.
It was like tropical storm, hurricane, tropical storm.
And now it's coming back to Florida. It passed the Keys. It went out into the Gulf a little bit, and then it's swooping back to North Florida. So, around Tampa area.
And so, I saw that, like, before it actually got around here, I saw that it was supposed to, like, reach South Florida and then kind of, like, hit a left. and then it was supposed to kind of, like, hit another right back into the peninsula. I'm like, what kind of shit? Like, bro, go one way. Like, what are you doing? Like, where is it trying to go, for real?
And even though, a lot of people might not know exactly what we're talking about because there's a lot of other things happening in the world right now that they're not paying attention to Florida storms. But what is it? Tropical storm, either tropical storm or hurricane Ada, right?
Yeah.
That was the name of it?
Yeah.
It has personal issues. It doesn't know what it is. It has confidence situation. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, at this point in time, I don't know. Hurricane season is supposed to end in November. November 30th, I think, is the official end of hurricane season. I don't know if we're going to get anything else, but at this point, we're still getting hit by some bans because we're in a calm point right now. It's rained for 24 hours straight, it seemed like.
Seemed like it.
Right now, we're at a calm point, and we're supposedly supposed to get some another flood warning. Came on the TV tonight.
I feel like because we there's been multiple flash flood warnings throughout the day, and I think the other ones are just like to let you know that like there's still floods out there, like not that more are coming, even though this one did say that more rain is supposed to come.
Yeah.
But I think some of the other ones are like, oh well, there's still floods out here that are occurring, just to let you know. Like I'm gonna give it to you because I'm like, damn, like there's another one. Like it's sunshine outside. How is there a flash flood warning? But
memes are crazy.
It's been
videos
cleasy, bro.
Posted online from different people's backyards, people fishing on their street.
Bro, Florida doesn't care, bro. Florida does not care. There's a bunch of videos of people. I mean, this is not new. Like we've been not caring. Like there's people like skimboarding and doing the little whatever,
Bro.
damn near jet skiing down their
bro,
neighborhood,
not damn
fishing
there.
in the damn street.
Not damn they're jet skiing. They are jet skiing down their neighborhoods. They are jet skiing.
I wouldn't risk my jet ski because let's say like it's starting to go down. All of a sudden, your thing is scraping gravel, like, and then you got to carry that thing and pick it up back into your trailer or whatever. Like, I ain't trying to risk that. They're rich.
No, I don't. I've seen a few videos of people, 2, 3, 4 people out there jet skiing just down the street, down the middle of the street. It's like, what is really going on?
Bro, they don't care.
This would be the second time this month that my car's flooded.
I moved it.
Well, he saved it.
Okay.
I mean,
He
I
saved it.
don't know.
As far as we know.
Yeah, as far as we know, it did not get flooded.
Yeah. Well, okay,
but
you haven't checked it, right?
Yeah, but it was so the water was so deep. Like I wasn't trying to walk in like knee and thigh high deep water.
Yeah.
Like
to go
I had
check
to?
it. Yeah, exactly.
Didn't even. It was just rain. It
That
was just a
wasn't even
lot
a
of rain.
named
It wasn't
storm.
even a hurricane. It wasn't even a tropical storm. It was just a lot of rain. And I came back from Captain Redbeard's house, and then it was already raining. But I'm like, it's always raining. And then so as I keep driving towards the neighborhood, it's just getting higher and higher to the point where like the streets in our neighborhood is like completely underwater. I get out of the car ankle deep, and as I keep walking towards the building, it's like knee high in the main street. I was pissed, man.
The next day, we get in the car and we're headed to go see the Stevie Nicks concert film. And we get in the car and I'm like,
canceled.
I'm thinking, what is that smell?
Yeah,
I
me
open
too.
the door to let my kid in and putting him in the car seat. And then I'm like, there's a smell in here. And I think you commented on it, Jay.
Yeah, I was like, why does it smell like that?
And then I look down in the floorboard of the back seat, and there's at least 3 inches of water in there. I'm like,
Dang.
great.
Even turned on the car and it was spitting out water from the exhaust.
Yes.
I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time in 4 or 5 years that we lived here that it's that thing like that. When we get a lot of rain, like that floods all the time. But that's the first time it's ever flooded high, like where it's gotten high enough to where it's actually gotten in the car.
Yeah.
Like it's
I've never experienced that.
That's the first time it's ever happened in four
crazy.
to 5 years. And then I was talking to one of the other ladies that live here, and she said that her car got flooded again last night. That little blue car that I told you got flooded last time. She said somehow her car got flooded again yesterday.
There was desperate measures for these desperate times.
Dude.
There was a car parked up because there's like a little walkway before like our first door where you like get in the actual building, and somebody parked up on the walkway. Like it wasn't like in the way of the door, but it was like still on the walkway. There was another dude that removed his parking block to drive up on the grass so that his wouldn't get flooded. Desperate times.
Yeah,
The one that was parked up on the walkway, I went out a couple of times this morning because obviously I got to let them know if I'm coming to work or not. I mean, and I'm not risking my damaging and messing my car
or even
up.
getting stalled and not getting there at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not risking messing my car up to come to work. I mean, like I get it. Like we all have jobs to do, but at the same time, if I mess my car up, I'm not going to be able to come there and do that job anymore.
Exactly.
So you're either just going to let me take these couple days off,
Unless
or,
y'all are replacing my motor or my engine or whatever is the problem. When it turns into a submarine, then I can't.
Exactly. So like it sucks because like I'm missing work because of it. But that guy who parked up on the thing, I went out at about 5. Could I wake up or a little after 5? Because I wake up at 5. So I went out about maybe 10 or maybe quarter after 5, and his car was still there. And I went out again at like 7 to see if it was like going down any, to see if the water's going down any, and his car was still there. Like, and then me and you went down at what, like, I don't even know what time it was. It was sometime in like late morning, early afternoon, maybe.
Oh, this morning.
Yeah. And
it was like 11
Was it
or
gone?
12.
and it was finally gone then. Yeah.
I'm sure he's not waking up at 5 a.m. to go move his car. So
No.
yeah, that's only you.
Hell no. Well,
So
that was just an add-on to all the craziness.
yeah,
Like this is extra craziness we got to deal with. We all dealing with the same thing nationally, But then us Florida, because literally, all right. So I have the My Radar app, and I literally was looking at the weather. I'm like tracking the storm to see where it's going, how it's doing, like if we got bands over us or anything. And so I zoom out because it shows you like the whole globe.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other weather going on in America. Nothing else.
Except us.
Well, actually, no, that's a lie. There's like I think there might be maybe snow or some kind of weather in Minnesota, but that's like heading into Canada. Other than that, there is nothing else.
Everybody's beautiful skies.
Everybody's beautiful skies, sunshine. I'm watching college football the day before. It's like it's all beautiful, and they're enjoying their day. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I mean, I will say New Orleans has had they've taken licks.
They've gotten everything that was usually meant for us. They've gotten it sadly this time around.
Yeah, New Orleans is the Hurricanes' new favorite. It seems like.
Yeah, New Orleans and like that part of Texas, Houston. I think it's Houston.
Yeah, Houston. Yeah.
So I'm glad that at least like we got this storm so that they didn't knock on wood because it's still out there. So
might take a turnaround.
It's going out into the Gulf of Mexico where usually those hurricanes power up to hit New Orleans. So let's hope that it just chills out.
Down.
Usually we always hope that it just keeps going north up until like the cold area and North Pole and it will just die out. But yeah, Etta, you need to go to an AA meeting or something because you don't know what you're doing out here.
Totally crazy.
Facts.
And I realized that I was thinking on Saturday when it was announced that we have a new president-elect, Mr. Joe Biden, that I was like, nobody in Miami could go out and celebrate because it's raining all weekend. Literally, all weekend.
Well, they did that the first night. I saw some footage of in Miami the first night, and then we had to take care of business getting ready for this thing out here. But yeah, so is it official? Is it?
I don't know what Trump is doing.
Is it actually official?
Well, they said. I mean, I think it's official. I think the lead that Joe Biden has versus the counts left in whatever states that are left to be counted, isn't enough to propel him past.
But I think even
Joe
though
Biden.
that's the case, I think that's still, the calculation is still a projection, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously he's, not leaving, not conceding. So there probably will be recounts.
No, there's
crap.
definitely going to be recounts.
So it's not official,
Yeah.
but it's official in our
Yeah.
minds.
Because like Georgia already said there's going to be a recount. I think Nevada said there's already going to be a recount.
Yes. And I think typically it takes a couple weeks to, get everything, all the dust settle and, officially say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just feel like, Trump, obviously I don't support him. I don't really like him, but just common sense tells you he should be more worried about Pennsylvania than anything because without Pennsylvania, he doesn't win shit. So we watched that from election night, which was Tuesday.
Yeah.
All the way up to Saturday. Like the TV stayed on that. And so we've heard this math
all day long.
a million times. And then it's I don't know, that was the one state he couldn't lose that he ended up losing big.
You gained some new favorite people.
Huh?
You gained some new favorite people in Anderson Cooper and
Chris
Cuomo.
Well, I've always liked Anderson Cooper. I've always thought Anderson Cooper was cool.
John King.
John.
That's Henderson Cooper.
That's Henderson Cooper. Yeah, that's Henderson Cooper.
He's coined Henderson Cooper simply because he looks the silver fox look and the suit and kind of just the official side of things.
Yeah.
We coined him Henderson Cooper.
Because he got this that's I was saying CNN has the dapper uniforms with the navy blue suit and the whatever tie, your tie of choice, and then the silver fox hair. I'm like, they must be sponsored by Just for Men because they they got that going on. And
then Wolf Blitzer also adds on to the trio of silver foxes happening there. So.
Oh, that's true.
Yes. It was we literally watched it all week, CNN, I think.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Was Trump's lead in Pennsylvania, did that matter? Was that crucial for him before or after Wisconsin and Michigan? Was
Crucial for who? For Trump or
for Trump? Because
okay.
wasn't it like he needed that because of the fact that Joe Biden won Michigan
Right.
and Wisconsin?
Yeah, there were different ways that he could have taken the lead. One of which was definitely, that since, Pennsylvania was 20, electoral votes, that counted as much to kind of propel him to get to the 270. So he definitely needed that because I think Nevada is 6 and I want to say Arizona was 11. So even with those, he was at 213. If he had gotten Nevada, Arizona, he still needed something big to get him up there to where he can get to that 270.
Yeah. Like this whole thing is just a mess because obviously going into it, everybody kind of predicted this. Everybody, knew this was kind of going to happen.
Yeah.
Even Bernie Sanders predicted this. There was a video, I don't know if you saw it, but I sent it to a couple people. And he was I think he was in an interview with like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. And yeah, he was talking about how Republicans, Donald Trump told them not to vote by mail. And of course, Democrats are more aware and more cautious of COVID-19. So they're going to most likely vote by mail.
Right.
And so they're going to do the in-person votes first. And then they're going to do the mail-in ballots second. And so that's where, Biden's going to catch up. And then, Trump's going to call, fraud, where these votes come from all of a sudden.
And I mean, he himself said up front that he wasn't going to, if he's not winning, he's not letting it rest easy. Like he is going to put up a fight. And there you have it. He did. And still is doing, I don't know with all these lawsuits that were filed exactly when we're going to hear whether the lawsuit is going through a process or not, or has been dismissed or whatever the case is. But I've heard since, we kind of predicted or projected or called that Biden has won. I've heard that a couple people in the president's inner circle have told him, okay, all right, let's talk about this. Let's review this and talk about how you maybe need to concede at this point.
This is a guy who his whole life, or at least his whole professional adult life, well, I don't know if you'd say professional, but his whole business life, he never really lost. He's always gotten his way. He's a decent. He has a business mind, and he just has I win all the time and I never lose, and stuff like that. So I mean, it was kind of expected, and he's been kind of childish for the last 4 years, especially with all the tweets and some of the things he says and stuff like that. So, but what I really don't get about suing is because you can just demand a recount, right, for whatever state. Yes. So what does suing do? Why sue a state? What does that even mean?
I guess that he's saying that there's some sort of fraudulent activity in the states that he sued. I know in Michigan he was trying to say that people that were deceased voted, which that since he said that, it's been cleared out, and people said no, that's not accurate.
Yeah.
And so he's going to continue, I think, on that same path, putting fake information out there into the world, saying that dead people voted, and things like that, even though it's been dismissed in many different, every time they investigated certain things that he said, there were no valid, points there or proof at all.
To back it up, which is kind of a threat to democracy here, as they've been saying on CNN. I mean, even though CNN is, I will be kind of remain median here. CNN is kind of leaning towards one side.
Yes,
I feel like that's with all media, with all channels. Nobody's really ever just in the middle.
Right.
So, even though CNN does have even though CNN is supposed to be the median, that's why they call it Central, isn't it? Central.
I don't know what CNN stands for, to be honest. I don't know.
Damn, we don't even know. I feel like it stands for Central, but I'm not sure.
It definitely is left leaning. Though
Central News Network. I feel like that's what it. Yeah.
I don't know. It may not be. I can Google it. It may not be all the way. I don't think it's as liberal as, let's say, an MSNBC. But in the I guess the spectrum of news networks, it's definitely more left leaning for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, and something. I don't even consider myself a Democrat. I just kind of lean and here.
Stands for Cable News Network.
Cable News Network. Okay. Yeah. Why? I don't know, because I feel like every time I don't know if I heard that somewhere. I feel like when it comes to CNN, I feel like it's supposed to be like, all right, this is like the center for everything. So I don't know.
Sadly, I don't think any news network in America is unbiased. I don't think so. I think every news network has their own interests, and on CNN, while most of the people were more left leaning the entire time last week, they had Rick Santorum, who was kind of like the Republican representative, and they had other people kind of weigh in, but he was like the only one for the entirety of the week that kind of had a right wing perspective on the entire thing at CNN. Yeah.
Well, they got to have something, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll have one kind of correspondent that has. Even on Fox News, I remember during the week they had Pete Buttigieg kind of their left leaning person on Fox News. So they do have kind of like one person's perspective from the other side, but overall, it's leaning in one way or another.
Yeah, this has been election night turned into election week.
Oh, for sure.
Real quick.
And I felt like I couldn't get anything done for the most part. It was like it took over my entire week, especially on Saturday when everybody was celebrating. I'm like, okay, I have homework to do. But like, I kind of just want to luxuriate in the celebration and love it and live it. And yeah, so it, for the most part, kind of like just the whole world was riveted, because even kind of in Paris, London, people are ringing bells and fireworks and whatever. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I feel like more of the whole world is more into this election than ever before, because I saw because I definitely know that some other countries around here are like, they like Trump. And I even saw there was a video about some parade in Nigeria, because Trump was like, ahead at the time. So they were like, and it might have stemmed from like Trump like tweeting like, oh, I already won, you might as well stop counting now, that they had this little parade. Actually, to tell you the truth, I don't know if it was true or not. Like there was just a parade. I don't know if it was for Trump, because he tweeted like, oh, there's a parade in Nigeria for me, and I love Nigeria, something along those lines.
Right.
So but then you have everybody else loving Biden, and then when they, he projected winner, what did it was Paris, right? Paris rang the bells, and
The
like
church bells, yeah.
You gotta do something big, like real big, for Paris to be ringing their church bells and all that. And then
Celebrating
there's
worldwide.
there's a sky full of fireworks, and I forgot what city it was.
London. That was London.
It was London.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I mean, you got to know that something's wrong when you lose your job and people dance in the streets.
Listen, people who aren't regularly like Democrat, like they don't do Democratic things, went out and voted for Biden simply because they don't want Trump back
Right.
in it.
Right.
Like that goes like, just Biden had the most votes in history.
Right.
So like, that kind of says something. Of course he's just going to say, oh, it's fraudulent. So, it's fake,
Yes.
dead people, illegal votes.
And Trump had the second most in history. So,
yeah.
it's kind of like, yes, overall, this was the most that people had ever participated in voting in the history of this country, which is, it says something.
And I think early on it was mentioned that it was because of a lot of young people voted this time, because usually they don't care. Usually they're just like, I'm in college, I just want to, relax and, do whatever.
And black voters, by and
that
large,
too.
huge. If you kind of look at the breakdown, and I kind of was looking at the breakdown of between like black men, black women, Latino votes, Asian votes, like by and large, I think 92% of black women voted for Biden.
92%
in the country. Yes. Yeah. So this win was heavily carried by the black vote. And I think that's why, in Georgia, they're giving praise to Stacey Abrams, who previously had run for governor, I believe it was, of the state. And she lost. However, she still, even though she lost, she didn't give up. She kind of like kept the train going and said, hey, we're gonna go for the presidency then. I'm gonna go around the state of Georgia. I'm gonna make sure the black vote counts. And that's why I don't even know if that's official, but he was leading in Georgia as far as we knew. So I don't know if that's still being counted or recounted or what the situation is.
Yeah.
But the fact that we won Georgia
this year, unlike any other year, was obviously like it was. I feel like this year was definitely like nobody came out and said it, because of course they're not gonna like create that problem for them. But I feel like there were so many companies that just urged everybody to vote. Like normally it's just like, all right, well, politics is a separate thing. You know,
Right.
you go and vote for whoever you want to vote for. But like, it was super important this year that everybody just get out and vote. Like all the leagues did it. You know, you see just everywhere. Like, please vote. Everybody, you know, pulling out their phones, making an Instagram story, Snapchat, whatever. Like, please get out and vote. Please get out and vote. Everywhere. And he's back. He had to take a hiatus for a minute. But yeah, like this was like the most push by media ever that like, you know, I've ever seen. Because I mean, I've only been alive for and actually paid attention to some elections and, you know, that time where, you know, in November we got to go vote or they got to go vote. So this year definitely like took it to the highest, like for in terms of like not just vote for this person, but vote for this one, but vote.
Yeah. And I think you were talking about before I interrupted you. You were talking about not being a Democrat per se, but being somebody who, you know, you just go by your values and what your interest is.
Oh yeah, by the Central News Network, Cable News Network dilemma.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wouldn't consider I guess maybe I associated myself with the Democratic Party, but I don't really do truthfully, I don't really do Democratic things. Like, you know, I'm not, you know, it's not on my mind, but it just seems to what I lean towards. I mean, the first time that I was able to vote, I voted for Barack Obama because it was just, you know, what I thought was the right vote in my head at the time. And then this is the second one? Yeah, wait.
Well, probably did you
Oh
vote
no,
in the
2012.
first? Okay.
2012 was my first.
Right.
The second was
Hillary.
Yeah, oh yeah, Hillary. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then okay, so this is my third. So and then 2 out of the 3, I've had Donald Trump in my ballot. So so yeah, I don't really consider myself I'm a left, I'm a liberal, you know, but that's just where my morals and values lean towards.
Absolutely.
You leftist rebel.
I'm a millennial radical, as some would like to call it.
I mean, for me, I think I have always, my first time voting for president was in 2008 with Barack Obama. It was an amazing, spectacular event of a night, and
Oh, yeah.
it will be remembered forever. I was at UCF. It was just phenomenal. The entire experience of going to vote. I actually, they came to Orlando. Hillary came to Orlando. Or not, yes, she came to Orlando. Bill Clinton came to Orlando. Bill Clinton came to UCF, and I saw him on campus. And then Hillary and I think Obama had some sort of a campaign speech downtown in Orlando. All of my roommates, everybody went. And then the night of, after it was officially announced, Barack Obama is now the 44th president of the United States, we ran outside. People were screaming out of their windows, running down the street. It was like a huge celebration that night, and it was incredible.
We was lit.
Lit.
I remember
You skipped class the next day.
I probably did.
I couldn't. Shoot, I was a freshman in high school. I couldn't skip no damn class. But I do remember us being happy. You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we got a black president. This is awesome. And then Young Jeezy came out with the song,
My
and we were bumping that
president
all
is
year.
black. Yeah.
I saw a meme that Joe Biden had like he had like Young Jeezy by the neck. He's like, "Can you make me a song too?"
Yeah. But for me, I think when I vote, a lot of people vote with their own interests, what's going to benefit me in the long run with each of these candidates. For me, I don't think that way. I think what benefits the entirety of the nation and what benefits everybody, from whether it's people that are in poverty currently, to college students, to women, to, kind of LGBTQ, everybody. Like that's where my values are. And so I tend to lean with the candidate that's going to take care of everyone, the marginalized, the minorities, and that's probably more than likely usually not a Republican.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. So like Joe and Kamala, let's get this healthcare thing going because my insurance sucks at work. I need it.
I work in a job right now, thankfully, that gives me really great health insurance. And so I benefit from that, and I am happy with that. However, I know that my family members don't have as great health insurance as I do, and they need health care. So I want to go with somebody
She's
that
talking about us. She's talking about me and you.
I feel victimized.
She's talking about me and you because Eli's on her health insurance.
yeah.
I got my own at work, and you're just floating out in the universe.
I'm a freebie.
I want my family and everybody else's family to live well, and I think healthcare is a right. You should have a right to go and be taken care of by a doctor, and you shouldn't, have to worry about a pre-existing condition and this and that.
Well, that's like with my vertigo, like, I've had vertigo for like a year now. Like the first time it like really hit me was like a year ago, and then like at the time like we had the money to spend and it wasn't a big deal, but like between like my doctor visit and then the test they had to do and then my prescriptions, it was like $1,000. Like I spent like $1,000 in like a day just going to the doctor for vertigo.
Yeah.
And then like it hit me again. This is the sucky part. So the prescription they gave me, they didn't give me refills on. They gave me like, it was just like 30-day supply.
So you have to go back to the doctor.
So I got to go back to the doctor and get more refills, which
Yeah.
means they want to do more tests, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? I don't have a spare $1,000 sitting around right now.
That's whack.
So I'm just kind of like, I just missed like what, like almost a week, pretty much a week's worth of work.
And imagine if
because
you
of it.
had like a chronic illness or something that you need the medicines to survive.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that suffer out there that need that care, and it's imperative. Even if it's not, Medicare for all or, some sort of quote unquote socialist healthcare system.
Yeah.
You should have the option. It should be available to everybody. Yes, everybody should have, general health care. But if you want insurance, go for it. But at least you still have something that's there. That's my point.
Like Canada.
Exactly. See, and that's why like, and a lot of people like, I don't know. I still think we don't deserve Bernie. Bernie's too good for us, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but I really don't care. But Bernie's a huge like healthcare advocate, you know, like, and that's what he says, and that's why I hope he ends up like on Joe Biden's cabinet, because like they said it before that he was probably going to end up with a cabinet position for Joe Biden. But I mean, I really hope he does, because like even now, still like during the 5 days that we watched CNN. For the election, Bernie Sanders was tweeting and stuff and getting on social media saying, if Kamala and Joe get in, healthcare is going to be better. We're going to work together to get prescription costs down and all this stuff. And that's just what it needs to be.
And it works in other countries. You don't have to be. It doesn't have to be a society where there's a dictator or somebody that's taking over. The government is taking over everything that you own, and they're gonna mandate or kind of like ration everything that you have, like a lot of people think it is. There's a lot of countries out there that have healthcare for everybody, and they're fine. There's no dictator. There's still a democracy. There's still so it doesn't have to be that to be fair for everybody.
People are dumb.
I mean,
people are dumb. I mean, that's the best answer you're gonna get out of me is people are dumb. Like,
ugh.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but
I just ultimately hope that Joe and Kamala are great president and vice president.
Shout out to Kamala real quick.
And
y'all.
we gotta give her her praise.
Kamala is
Kamala?
correct. It's Kamala. Yeah.
Kamala.
They said it's like Kamala, so Kamala.
Kamala.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris.
Yes.
The first ever woman in office.
First ever African American, Indian American woman in office.
Whoop.
Whoop. First ever child of immigrants.
Whoop.
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 Yeah.
She's killing the game, and she is inspiring a lot of Black and Latino and Asian and etc. girls out there that you can do it.
Absolutely.
That this world is full of opportunities.
What I don't like about this is like every new president comes in and they all inherit some bullshit, but like Donald Trump screwed everything up so bad. Like Biden and Harris are inheriting a country that is like far worse than like Obama did or George Bush did. You know, like because like they're not doing anything about this coronavirus. Like we've had record numbers for like a week straight now.
We had record numbers last week when the election was going on.
Yeah, and like they're just doing nothing about it. Like we're just gonna act like it doesn't exist, and people are just gonna keep.
And you
getting
know what?
sick and dying.
There's a
and
lot
I'm
of
like,
people that will disagree
Yeah.
with you. There's a lot of people, and of course they see things from their perspective. They're like, oh, gas prices are down, and that he helped black people because he kind of let people out of prison. You remember that whole thing with Kim Kardashian where she went to meet with him and they
Man,
released some like non-violent
She gave
offenders.
she gave him an unedited version of her and Ray J's sex
Oh.
tape. Stop it.
Wow.
Stop it.
Damn.
Stop it.
That boy said she dropped the director's cut on his ass.
Oh my
Nah,
God.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't want to take anything away from Kim Kardashian. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of like that family or anything, but like she has gotten wrongly convicted people out of prison. So like props to her for doing that. But like,
Yes.
I mean,
I don't. There was somebody on my Facebook page that I went to high school with that put out this long
They're a moron.
Facebook story.
They're a
Not, it
moron.
was a Facebook story for Facebook post about kind of like all the great things that Trump did, like a list, right? And a lot of them I can't prove
because they're probably not
there's
true.
no actual proof, maybe, I don't know. Kind of like broke up ISIS and killed these many. I don't know. Like he could tell
How
me. I don't know.
How do you break
Right?
up ISIS when what the hell just happened? Something just happened overseas. Was it like London or Paris or something like that? Something happened.
Yeah, there was some sort of
and ISIS
terrorist attack.
ISIS and ISIS claimed to be the makers or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
The orchestrators of that. So like, okay, like
Yeah.
they did the.
That's the thing.
He said that.
I
but
feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people would disagree with us in saying that, oh, Trump did a lot for our country and blah 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 blah. But I don't see the proof. I mean,
No.
I don't.
I mean, people are just gonna see it the way they see it.
yeah,
yes.
like that. That's just how like people.
And also,
That-
a lot of people will hear things that from other people and then just take it.
For face value.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
and then just run with it.
Yeah.
So,
And then when you pull out actual facts on them, they want to get mad at you. And then you're the asshole all of a sudden.
It's true.
It's happened to me before. That's,
well, yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
oh man,
I will say this: I have had difficulty with this this election cycle, in that, and I guess I had it in 2016 too. And a lot of people are saying, be kind to people who think differently, right? Like if they voted for Trump, be kind to them and understand their vote and respect. This is a problem for me, okay? Because I feel like I am usually somebody that's very open-minded to other people's views and things like that. And I have in the past with John McCain when he was running, with George W. Bush when he was running. I mean, I didn't like the guy at the time, but I wasn't as passionate about being against him as I am right now against Trump.
yeah.
I mean,
And
75 million people, or
agree.
yeah,
I'm
75
glad they
million
do.
people agree with you. So
And,
74,
and a
75.
lot of
somewhere around
international friends of ours agree.
there. Exactly.
And I
So-
feel like a lot of people now are kind of saying, we got to unify and work together and, hear each other out and, not, jeer at Trump supporters, understand their feelings and things like that. Here's the thing.
Nah,
for me.
fuck that. They
Here's
ain't
the
understand
problem,
our feelings.
okay? Is that
Fuck that noise.
I just feel like this time around, and I mean, this podcast in essence is about kind of hearing other people's opinions and respecting that and still being able to get along and whatnot, right? That's the basis of this. But I think in this case with Donald Trump, it is a different story. I feel like it goes beyond politics. This is not just political opinions anymore. This is like you're looking at me, right, and telling me you support Trump, let's be friends, when really you're supporting somebody who doesn't give a crap about me. Like you're literally somebody who supports racism against me. So how
Facts.
can I possibly be okay with you in that you support somebody that directly opposes everything I stand for as a person?
My thoughts exactly. And it's I don't want to point out all Trump supporters as being like just disgusting people, because I'm
I
sure
don't think they are.
I'm-
I really don't think a lot of them are.
I'm sure I don't mean to use Donald Trump's words, but there's probably a lot of good people on that side.
The good old boys.
Nah, that's like about them.
Oh, okay.
Because Because I feel like I do know some people who might have voted for Trump because of the fact that they are business owners, and so when they heard the Joe Biden's tax plan, that scared them, and so because of that, they might have not have necessarily voted for Trump because they generally like Trump. They just did not want that added on to their
That's because they don't care about other people. Because personally, if I was a business owner, or if I had a job making $400K a year or more, like, yeah, it's gonna suck because my taxes are about to go through the damn roof. Like that, yeah, that sucks. But at the same time, you got to think about other people too.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't vote for if I was making $1 million a year, or if I was making just at $400,000 a year, I wouldn't fucking vote for Trump. I don't give a damn if my taxes are gonna stay the same.
That, and I feel like the plan is not going to be just point blank. Like if you make 400,000 and up, everybody pays the same amount of taxes.
No,
I'm sure there's going to be, because there's tax brackets for a reason, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
you're not all going to get the same, whatever. You're like somebody making $500,000 a year is not going to pay the same as like somebody making $20 million a year.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's realistic thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm sure it's going to be raised to some extent. But Joe Biden and Kamala. Okay, that's gonna take me a minute.
Think of a comma.
Kamala.
Kamala.
Yeah. So I truly believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are gonna be, like they say, president and vice president for all people, whether you voted for them or not.
Exactly.
Because that's the vibe that I get from them. I don't get that vibe from Donald Trump and them. Like they're just like all about them and their people and what they do, and then they kind of just scoff at the other side, like they just kind of
demonize the other side, really.
Yeah, they just kind of like to it's us against them, and then, when we're one country.
Yeah, and that's what's been frustrating me about this whole thing and this coronavirus, and them doing the packages and stuff like that. It's like they're like, oh yeah, we need to do a bill, and then like the Democrats will pass a bill, and then it'll get to the Senate, and they're like, nope. And then it's the same with the Senate. They'll write a bill, and then they'll send it down to the House, and Democrats are like, nope. And it's like, come on, like this isn't like you guys are in a pissing contest for God knows whatever reason. Like that's not what this is about. This is about the people. The people need help. Give the people the damn help they need.
And we have to think about our future, because a lot of people talk about those gas prices, right? That was a main thing. Like, gas prices have been low for the last 4 years. Whoop, whoop. Well, one of the things that they talked about in the debates was the fracking situation. Like, I think it was Pence was accusing Kamala Harris of saying that she didn't want any fracking and things like that. While I don't know exactly what fracking is, I know it has something to do with oil, digging up the ground to get oil, and that whole business, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right?
Yeah.
Probably even more than that. Trillion going up and up. But when it comes to that, we have to think about our future. I remember watching a documentary about Iceland and how they use their resources, their renewable resources, wind and the heat from their volcanoes and things like that, as energy, right? To fuel the energy in a healthy way that sustains the environment. So the fact that people feel like, we have to frack and dig up our ground to get oil, in essence, to keep our oil prices down and to keep that industry booming. But guess what? The climate is going crazy. That drunk storm is evidence of the fact that this ain't going to be forever.
Yeah.
It's getting worse.
You can't tell Republicans that, though. They don't believe in science, remember?
Well, you see.
And back to the windmill thing real quick. I don't think Donald Trump believes in windmills either. He thinks they're a waste of time. I don't want to say believes in windmills, but like he doesn't.
That sounded funny.
He doesn't believe in what they do. I guess I should say he doesn't. He doesn't think they provide. I don't know what I can't remember. I read something on it a while back, but he doesn't like the windmills.
Well, listen, it's gonna come a day when these lakes they're being protruded in our streets from this storm. It's gonna be a situation where the water line rises, and that's gonna be forever, and we can't live in that. So we're
Well,
gonna
I
have to fix ish
mean-
before that goes down.
Hopefully, we're not down here for another 5 or 10 years. So.
I had a friend in high school who I think her family watched the Al Gore movie. I forget the name. An Inconvenient Truth. I think that was the name of the movie.
Oh.
And it was about climate change and how, in so many years as the ice keeps melting, that the water will rise and cover Florida and a lot of the coastal towns, right? New York, LA, a lot of the coastal areas. And because of that, her family literally moved to North Carolina because of that movie.
Well, I'm gonna watch it and we're gonna move somewhere. Too.
Dang. So we just got to find some high ground.
I mean, because
We're going
it
to
is
Colorado,
real.
bro. We're going to Denver.
Colorado.
The Mile High
Denver.
City.
We're going to Denver.
Thought y'all were going to Canada.
Ooh, I want to go to Canada or London. London
Well,
keeps
I
calling my
mean-
name.
That's true.
I mean, well,
London
like
would be
we
nice.
got Kamala.
I mean,
and-
London is an island. I mean, not London. I'm so
Or
sorry.
UK.
Please, scratch that from because that sounded crazy. So please scratch that. The UK is an
Are you
island.
uneducated?
I apologize. No.
No.
London is not an island.
I mean, we got Joe and Kamala now, so I feel better. Even I remember I said that Saturday night when they announced it. I said, everything just feels a little bit more right now.
It just-
the world just felt like I ain't gonna lie,
it took a fresh breath of air.
it was like a weight lifted off. I don't know why, but it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder when they announced that they won and Trump didn't win. And it was like, okay, they're not the racist people are still going to be there, but
Yeah.
they're not going to be out like they were because their president isn't racist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they're encountering different departments, whether it's the House of Representatives and maybe hopefully the Senate coming up soon.
I mean, although
Yeah.
people do like to use the Joe Biden and the 1994 crime bill as a crutch to him being like, oh, he's against black people. He put all the black people in jail. But it's like, I don't think he wrote the 1994 crime bill specifically to be like, man, screw these black people, man. I don't put all of them in jail, man.
Exactly.
Crack, rock, gravel on the ground. If it's in their pocket, they got to go. I
Yeah.
don't think he intentionally wrote that for black people. It's just that the state of the nation and how certain police officers and certain departments and states, counties, however you see it, felt they took advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Joe Biden writing this whole bill. Oh, he's responsible for all of this. It's
Yeah.
like it's America.
It's the same way that people do it all the time right now with a lot of other laws, how they abuse them, though they're written with, maybe good intentions in mind. People will take that same law and abuse it to their satisfaction. So with the crime bill, and he has apologized for it so many freaking times, he has said that bill did not go the way that they had hoped, and that was a mistake. He has said it multiple times, over and over and over again. Okay? And it happened. It's something we dealt with, and we move on. However, I will say that you cannot forget that Donald Trump was the one that put out a full page article against the Central Park Five and wanted them dead, basically.
And then when DNA evidence proved that they weren't the ones who did that stuff to the woman,
They try to put him away anyway.
he still didn't apologize. To this day, he still didn't apologize for what he did. And till this day, he doesn't admit that they didn't do it.
To this day.
I knew you were gonna do it because I was thinking about doing it too.
To this day.
But no, to this day, he still if he's ever asked about it, he still says he thinks they're guilty. So I mean, you want to talk about racist, bro? We can sit here and talk about it all day. But at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says. Donald Trump is racist as hell.
And then the last big concern that I can think of as far as other people with Joe Biden is that because of the whole tax thing, or that might be a part of it, is that the cost of living is going to rise because of even though Florida now has $15 an hour for a minimum wage.
But it's by 2026. So they said
yeah.
they're going to add on $1 each year until 2026.
Yeah. So in 2026, it might go. Like I said, I hope we're not living down here in 2026.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
they say the cost of living is going to rise because of that. Because if you're taxing the people, one example that I always bring to mind is that when they're taxing the people, let's say people who own apartment buildings, and you're taxing them more, they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to raise your rent since I got to pay more.
Right.
And then that's going to, take a toll on some people. But I feel like even previously, the cost of living has been going up.
It's always been high.
It's always going up.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to make a difference whatsoever.
This is only the second state I've ever lived in. And the cost of living is
Insane.
just ridiculous down here compared to the amount of money you make. Like in Indiana, I made a shit ton of money, and the cost of living wasn't anything. That's why we were able to go to Chicago every weekend and spend the entire weekend there every weekend for months on end.
In Indiana, this is just a baseline thing, but in Indiana, you could get rent an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bath for like $800, right? And we
were paying less than that.
But okay, but let me say just $800. That would be like a lot in their eyes. That's like a higher end apartment complex, right? Versus here, the lowest tier that you can get in apartments is like $1,300 a month. The lowest,
and that's probably like a 1-1. That's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath,
a studio.
Yeah,
not even a room.
just think it. If we were in the apartment, the Carroll Ave apartment down here, that's $2,000
I love
easy.
that apartment.
That place would be down here.
Easy.
That place would be $2,000. We paid $850 a month. That place down here in South Florida, that place would be $2,000 easy at the very least.
Used U-Haul box, $1,500. What's up?
And insurance, whew, car insurance, y'all.
Oh, dude!
I remember
the only good. Let me get this in real quick before I forget, because you know I'm going to forget if I don't say it now. The only good thing about down here so far is the FP&L. That's it. Because NIPSCO used to fucking knock our head, bro. Every month, NIPSCO is what, $200 a month?
Yeah.
$250 a month. That's the light and the gas bill. Down here is what? It's less than 100. Sometimes it might hit 100, a little over, but most of the time it's less than 100.
Yeah, depending on the time of year. But I will say that car insurance though, in Indiana, we're paying 100 or less for car insurance a month.
Because there ain't no traffic in Indiana.
100 or less.
It's all dirt roads and just
Here?
one-way traffic.
Dirt roads.
It was an old dusty trail everywhere.
It's like 500. It is insanity down here.
Well, it is insanity down here.
Wow.
So that's
yeah, these dumbass people down here don't know how to drive.
And people
look everybody else.
Bro, that happened. That happened. I was training one of the new guys at work, and that literally happened. We were on the Palmetto going north, and the car we were on that. We were getting off on the 75 off the Palmetto North. We are getting off on the 7 to go on 75 North, and what is that? Right before, I think it's 122nd. Yeah, it's 122nd. We're going. The car came from the express, because they got that one express lane. Sorry, the car came from that one express lane, went over the little orange poles, and just right up. I'm like, what in the what? Like, there wasn't a ton of traffic. It was in the morning, so there wasn't a ton of traffic. But dude, it was ridiculous.
I can't make up excuses for any situations that anybody experiences in Florida. I know everybody thinks Florida's crazy. They constantly, tell us that Florida's crazy.
They're right.
During the election, everybody looks at Florida like, Florida, you better get it together.
They should. They should. Look, I live down here. I'm not from here, so I can say that.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree.
I don't disagree. I do think there are certain parts of Florida that we have to be more cautious of because they are crazy. But I think,
boonies.
If you look at the general map of Florida, it's going to be the larger cities or cities where there are college campuses. College students tend to be more progressive, that do typically lean left, right? And then a lot of the other folks lean right and lean into madness.
Lean like a cholo.
Yep. Totally.
Well, the best part, my favorite part about all this election madness is we got to have Dave Chappelle's SNL.
Oh yeah.
To top it off, that was funny as hell. I love that episode. I saw that. I forgot who shared it with me or whatever, but it was LeBron tweeted that. Oh, Dave Chappelle on SNL. Dave Chappelle on SNL. Like, I'm like, because I already couldn't wait for SNL. Like, after this week. So just to hear that Dave Chappelle was hosting SNL, I knew it was gonna be lit.
He took an extra long time on that monologue.
Bro, like because I know Dave Chappelle, he doesn't care. Like, Dave Chappelle will say what's on his mind. He doesn't care where he is, what network he's on. he's gonna give it to you raw, and that's exactly what he did. I was like, oh, damn. Like first off, he said the N-word on national television. I was like, what? I was like, and then he's like, and
Couple
then
of times.
I mean, and then he was saying like, he was referring to like white people a lot, and then he wasn't being racist about it, but like he just singled out white people a lot, and it was just, I mean, it was hilarious.
I fell asleep. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, you missed it.
Did you even know he was gonna be on?
But
Bro.
I fell asleep.
His opening monologue was gold. It was hilarious. It was just like, normally an opening monologue is just like, whatever, either they wrote something beforehand or, whatever they tell them to, but bro, he did like a stand up. It was pretty much Dave Chappelle for like 15 minutes stand up.
I think. Did I just see something or did I dream that?
Dream what?
I want to say. Oh no, it wasn't him. Never mind. It was Kevin Hart. I'm gonna say I just saw something about another Netflix special, but it was Kevin Hart. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, and then Jim Carrey in the opening skit, it was Jim Carrey played Joe Biden, and it was who was homegirl that played
Maya Rudolph.
Yeah, her. And then of course with Alec Baldwin.
Yep.
Yeah,
Playing
played
Trump.
Trump and all that. So it was hilarious. Well, my favorite is the Weekend Update with
Colin Jost and Michael
Jost
Che.
and Michael Che, because we share the same name, sort of. But yeah, it was hilarious. I mean, knowing that it was a post Biden victory, they were just gonna be laid back and chill, like it was just gonna be great. And
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed it too as much as I did.
Everybody was in good spirits, so that's good.
Yeah.
And I mean, even though Chappelle was Chappelle and offered his laughs, he definitely had some moments of kind of like seriousness. And he was another person that he said, "Oh, we should listen to each other, and you gotta hear the other side out." And da 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 da. Yeah,
That's the Dave Chappelle formula. Like what he does, like because he does that in a lot of his stand-ups, is that he gets into like a serious topic and like he holds that like intensity that's sustained. Like, oh, this is serious. We gotta be quiet for a second. Let him speak. And then he says what he's got to say. And then right at the climax of that, then he puts a punchline on it, and it's so funny. Like I love how he does that.
yeah.
Dave Chappelle's definitely my favorite
The GOAT?
comedian. Yep.
I think he's
for
the
me,
GOAT.
for me, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like Kevin Hart and Mike Epps.
Yeah, I love both of them.
Gary Owen. I like all of them, but Dave Chappelle, because you got to remember he had the show on Comedy Central, Chappelle Show. Like,
Now streaming again on Netflix.
yeah, he had that. Like, I remember when that came out in like 2006. How was it? I think it came out in 2006. I can't remember for sure. It was either 2005 or 2006.
I want to say we were in high school when it started, so maybe 2005. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so maybe
yeah.
it was 2005. Maybe it was 2004. It was between 2004 and 2006. How about that?
Let's go with
But
that.
but that was like
Wide margin.
like I would stay up just to watch that show. And
Yeah.
like I remember seeing him in Half Baked, that movie Screwed with Norm Macdonald. Those are two of my favorite movies ever. I don't know. He's just for me. He's just a GOAT, like number one.
He's just a GOAT. I mean, people, a lot of OG people would say that they still consider Richard Pryor as the GOAT. But Dave Chappelle, I feel like, in my opinion, he's just hilarious without even trying. Like, I feel like lately when he's just on the mic, he's just got a cigarette in his hand, he's got a drink in his hand, he's just being him, and he's hilarious. So I don't think any other comic could do that, like, as casually as he does.
For sure. Well, I fact checked it because that's what I do. Googler.
Ms. Google, the power of Google.
Yes, I found that the Chappelle Show actually started in January 2003. So we were off of the mark a little bit.
Dang, and it ended in 2005,
2006. Yeah.
2006.
Yeah, because it was like cut short in like the middle of season 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I bought the DVDs. Bless you. I bought the DVDs as soon as they were available. I bought them, boys. I still have them somewhere. They might be over there.
They might be right there actually.
Yeah,
Well, I would say I got to take a look at them, but it's on Netflix.
it's
now,
on Netflix
so.
now. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, I saw that the masks that they were all wearing at the very end of the show
Oh yeah,
had the Chappelle
logo.
Show. Yeah.
I noticed how when he was announcing Foo Fighters and they all turned around, they all had it on their mask. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that joke where he was like, because he was talking about his great grandfather and they had the same last name. So it was like, the show that bears my great grandfather's name, the Chappelle Show. brought back on Netflix, back on HBO Max. I ain't get paid for either one of them.
I saw something. I watched it was like a 12-minute like thing that's on Instagram yesterday or the day before. It was like why he quit. Because everyone's like, oh,
Yeah.
he went crazy. Like, he left $50 million on the table. He went crazy.
Yeah, just went to Africa and
Yeah.
just like stayed out there for like 10 years or something
But
like that.
he said like he was doing like a super like racist like joke like towards black people. And he heard someone laughing and he was like, people laugh all the time. I'm a comedian. I get it. He was like, but this laugh was different. And like he said, it was a white guy like laughing his ass off. And he said like that was like a big like determining factor of him saying, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I think I was watching Dave Chappelle on the David Letterman Netflix interview show. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's something about the guest. Anyway,
Your next guest. Or
your
something
next
like
guest,
that.
something like that. And I remember him kind of like speaking from his Ohio neighborhood, kind of where he does the shows in like the cornfields or whatever it is. And he was talking about the fact that him and his family are Muslim. And
Dave Chappelle?
Yes.
Oh, really? I know that.
And that he's very spiritual in that way. There's a lot of things that he incorporates in his life, and kind of the way that he views the world has a lot to do with his spirituality. And so I think, you know, while he's a very funny guy and very jovial about a lot of things and kind of like reckless, raw and reckless about a lot of his opinions, I think the underlying kind of motivation for himself is based on kind of that spirituality. So that's probably right along the lines of, you know, he heard that and kind of thought differently about what he was presenting to the world. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's kind of what he was saying. Like I said, it was just like a bunch of interviews compiled into like a 12-minute video. So it wasn't like the whole interviews. Like there was one where he was like, where he went on Letterman's show, and then there's another one where he was like with Oprah,
yeah.
and then it was just a bunch of them, a bunch of different interviews, and there's like little stand-ups and stuff in there. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, when stuff like that starts happening, I don't know, I don't know.
And I get why
Like-
he said kind of the whole, you know, you should listen to each side and things like that on Saturday, when he was kind of saying that as a country, we need to kind of come together and there needs to be some sort of unity in order to move forward. And I get that. But at the same time, maybe you're a better person than me, Dave Chappelle, but like I can't lose sight of the fact that I look at people that voted for Trump sideways. I do. Like, and it's not because I'm trying to be vicious or trying to be, you know, I don't know. It's just a matter of I can't stomach the fact that how can I look at you as somebody who could be my friend or be somebody that I'm working with if you directly align with somebody that is against the fiber of my being.
Like, that's
it's
pretty much
just-
how I feel also. It's like, I would love to be the type of people that I would love to be how people like to just like simplify it as like, you know, we can be, you know, have opposite views and still be friends, but like racism, xenophobia, you know,
Islamophobia.
all that stuff, that's not on the table. Like, that's not negotiable. Like, we have to agree on that.
For sure. Like there's no losing sight of that. It has to be, let's settle this foundation on the fact that, and that's the thing. It's like they ignore the fact that, and will not agree to the fact that Trump is this way. Like you cannot, based on just
it's like they're blind.
glaring facts, right?
Yeah.
That has been things that have been said and things that have been done. How can you possibly look at him and still think he's a decent dude?
It's like battered woman syndrome when like their husband beating the hell out of them.
Why
He's
do you
like,
think he
"Oh,
still loves
he's just-
you?"
He's just mad.
Why?
I got in his way.
He hits me because he loves me.
Exactly. Except he ain't hitting them. You know, he hitting us. But they're just like, oh, he didn't mean it. You know,
He's hard on you guys because he expects better.
like
Black people have
fuck
to
out my
want to be
face.
successful. Did you hear that one?
oh man,
No.
Jared Kushner, who is Ivanka's his daughter's husband, so his son-in-law, Trump's son-in-law. He's I guess an advisor on the squad, and he was talking on some news program the other day saying, you know, black people have to want to be successful. That's their problem, you know. And it's just I can't I don't know, guys.
And Dave Chappelle did touch on the fact that, a lot of people push that stigma of black people as being, these people who collect unemployment and food stamps and whatnot because they're too lazy to work, in air quotes and all that. But then there was like, number taken about in certain states how because of coronavirus and all that, they lost their jobs. And they don't want to. They're living off like the stimulus check or whatever. Like they don't want to go get another job, and so they was like, well, guess who that sounds like, So
Right.
yeah, I mean, all we can do is just hope for a better future. We could just hope that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris just live up to expectation and
Indeed.
stitch this nation back together, make things better, and we pray that the opposition just sees what we see,
Right.
and just somehow come to light. Not saying that we're perfect, not saying
No.
that everything that people over here say is correct or right or whatever, but it's just that there's a difference, there's an imbalance.
Right.
And
July is coming, and we're hoping that at that point there's an easy transition from one to the next. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but
it's gonna be.
It's gonna
That's
be.
all we know. Thanks again, Noble Fam, for always joining us. It is a pleasure every single time.
Listen to us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Radio Public, and SoundCloud, or whatever your favorite podcast platform is. Remember to follow us on IG and Twitter at Noble Citizens PC. Search Noble Citizens Podcast on Facebook.
Jump on those interwebs and follow me on Instagram at Ronnie_NCP.
You can also find me on Instagram at _JAEDE_.
Follow me on the IG. It's pro.bound, and let's all band together and form a better future for this nation because we all need it. Stay tuned for the next episode. It's a noble thing to do.
Happy birthday, Gerry!